Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. This is me again, Abdel from Morocco for another lesson. If you follow me. Well, today's lesson is going to be about the gerund, the second part of a long lesson, the gerund and the infinitive. Well, as I told you, that lesson or this lesson is very rich. It contains a lot of structures, a lot of expressions to learn in order to communicate very well the language. So I did the infinitive, which you can find, just before this lesson. And now I am about to do the gerund lesson. I hope you will like it. Get ready and listen carefully. Patterns of the gerund. Number one, the gerund form can be used as a subject of a sentence. As in these examples, fishing is his hobby. Seeing is believing. Beating a child will do more harm than good. Exercising in hot weather may be harmful. As you see, fishing, seeing, beating, exercising are all placed in the position of a subject, the subject of a sentence. 2. The gerund is used after verbs of likes and dislikes. Here we're going to learn lots of new expressions and good ones. Of course, the very simple ones that you know, like, love, dislike, and hate, etc. But there are also other expressions. Be fond of, be interested in, be into, be crazy about, mind, be fed up with, be bored with, and be tired of. Examples. I have always loved skiing. Jackson is fond of playing soccer. Are you crazy about fishing? I don't mind staying up late. We're fed up with doing so much homework. Are you bored with watching this movie? 3. Suggestions with gerund. Of course, suggestions are functions of the language that we use in everyday communication. You can see that the expressions highlighted in red are expressions of making suggestions. They are all followed by a gerund form, as in these situations. What about taking a walk after the workout? What about is an expression of suggestion, and it is followed by taking, a gerund form. How about traveling to France next summer? She suggested giving a party at her place when the school year finished. I can even use the verb suggested, and remember this. Suggested as a verb is followed by a gerund form. This verb you can find in reported speech, in expressing suggestions, etc. But remember, it is always followed by a gerund form. Of course, there are other expressions, that suggested take, but we will talk about them later on, maybe in another lesson. Do you fancy going out tonight? Do you fancy going out tonight? Does it interest you? Are you into it? Look at going. It's a gerund form. 4. Expression go plus gerund. These are, expressions we use in everyday communication. We use them every day. This pattern usually refers to sports, activities, and physical recreations. Like in here, Pete goes swimming every afternoon. I'd like to go skiing in the winter holiday. Our family is into sports. Dad goes cycling, Mom goes running, and I go hiking at the weekends. My friend never goes shopping because he hates queuing at the checkout. It's a good expression, isn't it? 5. Expression do plus the definite article plus a gerund form. Look at these situations. Mike wanted to do the washing and the cleaning. Do you like doing the gardening? I have never done the ironing. Let me do the washing up. As you can see, this pattern usually refers to different jobs that you do around the house. 6. We have two essential verbs in the language, and we use them with the gerund form: spend and waste. Now, mind that spend and waste are always followed by either money or time. Look at the situations. He never spends any money gambling. Try not to waste your money buying too many unnecessary gadgets. We often spend hours playing board games. He wasted a lot of time hanging out in cafes. So here, gambling, buying, playing, hanging are all gerund forms. 7. Need plus gerund form. Now remember that this pattern conveys passive meaning and refers to activities that must be done. If it's a person that needs to do something, it must be followed by an infinitive form, as I showed in the previous lesson. For example, if I say I need to drink some water, or I need to have a rest, so it's me. However, if it's something that needs that something be done for it, it's gerund form, as in these situations. My garden needs watering. You should see your hairdresser because your hair needs cutting. It's too long. These windows need cleaning. They are dirty. I need to clean them. Look at this. I need to clean them. Example 4. We must spend a lot of money on this house. The roof needs repairing. The fence needs fixing. And the walls need painting. So there is a passive meaning. So it's something that needs that something be done for it, as I said before. The walls, for example, need painting. It's somebody who needs to paint the walls. 8. Some verbs and expressions are followed by a gerund form. Let's call them fixed, like in the expressions below. Can't help, can't stand, feel like, get or be used to, look forward to, etc. Look at the examples. We can't help laughing at his jokes. I don't feel like learning. He is used to getting up early. Now remember that used to, if it is not preceded by get or be, we just put the bad infinitive. He used to get up early. However, if there is to be or get, he is used to getting up early. Fourth example, I look forward to hearing from you. Verb plus gerund, keep walking, keep that activity. He gave up smoking, but took to gambling. Now to take to something means to become addicted, to take that habit. She denied stealing the ring. We did this in reported speech, remember? You risk dying if you go on taking drugs. 9. A, a good expression to remember is it's no good, it's no use, plus gerund. As in the proverb here, it's no use crying over spilt milk. It's no use, gerund form, crying over spilt milk. It's no good talking about it for so long. That is, there will be no result, no fruit. It's fruitless. It's not much use buying a car if you can't drive. Well, if you don't have a driving license, why would you buy a car? It's not much use because you will just leave the car in the garage. In a question, is it any good running away? Part 2. Some verbs can be followed by either the gerund or the infinitive. And here, what is a little bit, confusing, is that these verbs, when they're followed by a gerund, they have a meaning. And when they're followed by the two infinitive, they have another meaning. Look at this. Remember, forget, and regret. Now let's take just remember. And the same, meaning goes for the other two verbs. If I say I remembered locking the door, means that I first locked the door, then I remembered doing that action. But if I say I remembered to lock the door, it means that I remember that I had to lock the door, and so I did. So I remember is number one, and then to lock the door is number two. Just like I explained before, to lock is something that will happen in the future after remember. However, I remembered locking the door. It's that action of locking that happened first, and then while sleeping, on my head on the pillow, I was thinking, and I remembered that I locked the door. Stop. Stop plus gerund, and stop plus to infinitive. Look at the examples to see the different meanings. They stopped talking when the teacher entered. They were talking but finished it when the teacher entered. It means they stopped that activity of talking, that action of talking. However, they stopped to talk. It means they were going somewhere and they stopped in order to talk about something. They took a break so that they could talk. They stopped an activity that they were doing in order to talk. Once again, it's that objective, that's going to happen in the future. They stop to talk. Like if you're traveling and you stop to eat something, it means you stop your car and you go to a restaurant to eat something because you're hungry. See, hear, and watch. If you remember, we talked about these three verbs in the previous lesson, the one about the infinitive. Now, if we see somebody doing something, or hear somebody doing something, or watch somebody doing something, we see just part of the action. But if we see or watch or hear somebody do something, we see the whole action. Situations. They saw him climbing the tree. They just saw part of the action. They saw him climb the tree. They saw the whole action from the very beginning, from the bottom until the top of the tree. I can remember the example I gave in the infinitive, lesson. She saw him cross the road. That's bare infinitive. She saw him cross the road from one end to the other one. But if we say she saw him crossing the road, she just saw part of the action. Try. Look at the situations. She tried making it up with her friend. She just made an experiment to see what would happen. She tried to learn Japanese. She made an effort to do so. I must give here another example. If you are locked in somewhere and you try opening the door, that is, you use a lot of devices, a lot of experiments to open the door, like a screwdriver, like, just a hammer and trying to break the door or something. These are experiments. But in the end, what you were trying to do in general. So I tried to open the door, that is the fruit, the overall, objective. Sorry. Now, sorry as an adjective, if it is followed by the for preposition, sorry for being late, well, it's quite normal because, after prepositions, we normally use the gerund form. So, sorry for being late means I have been late and now I apologize. But if you say, sorry to interrupt you, I'm going to interrupt you and I apologize for this. That sorry is apology. But to interrupt, that is, I am going to interfere here and have a say and say something. So, these are two good expressions to remember. For plus gerund, sorry for being late, sorry for doing this and that, but sorry to interrupt you, to stop you, etc. Well, remember them. Time to practice. Exercise 1. Finish the following sentences using the gerund of the given verbs. Exercise 2. Make sentences using the given words and the gerund. Be creative. Exercise 4. Is it 3? Rewrite the following sentences using the gerund and the verbs in brackets. Next exercise. Rewrite the following sentences using the gerund and the verbs in brackets. The next exercise. Finish the sentences using the gerund or the infinitive. Here, distinguish between the two, and it's a good one, a good exercise. The last exercise. Finish the sentences using the gerund or the infinitive once again. Now, on purpose, I will not give the answers this time of the exercises that I gave before, but I will ask you to leave your answers in the comments below after the video. Be creative and show me some good work. My lesson has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed it, you liked it, and I hope you will do your exercises in the best of ways. How about having a break? Thank you so much for listening to me, and ta-ta for now. Goodbye.